any of my masters that are scheduled to do a demonstration today, please check in at the stage to get assigned a time. Masters that are going to perform on stage and do a demonstration today, please check in on the stage.
Hey everyone, welcome back to DP Martial Arts Academy. My name is Katie, and in this 3-part series, we'll be going over bow staff basics to advanced. Make sure you like this video and hit the subscribe button, and if you want to be first to see any of our new content, make sure you hit the notification bell as well. We'll get started. So the first thing you'll need to follow along with our lesson is a bow staff. Now, if you have a bow staff at home, that's great. Make sure you use it for practice with your parents' permission. If you don't have a bow staff, feel free to use anything similar lying around your house or the outdoors. You could use a stick, or you could use a pool noodle, or any other safe objects that your parents will allow. Before we get started, we're going to do some stretches to loosen up our upper body. So you can put your weapon down for now, and let's get started with the stretches. First, we're going to stretch out our neck. So we're going to do some neck circles, and I'll count them out for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And other way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now let's loosen up our shoulders. Do some shoulder circles backwards. We're going to circle our shoulders backwards. Very good. And now we're going to do forward circles. Good. And once you're all loosened up, we're going to loosen up our wrists, which is the most important part of being able to handle a bow staff. So a stretch that I like to do is this. We're going to grab the top of our hand and we're going to stretch our wrist out. You should feel a nice tug at the top of your wrist. So pull, don't be afraid to loosen and tense it out, and do this a few times on both your right and your left hand. So let's switch hands and stretch out our wrists. And once you've spent a few minutes doing that, you can stretch the reverse. So grab your top 4 fingers and pull back. And you should feel a tug this time, not at the top of your wrist, but at the bottom. And we can do this with both hands. And once that's done, let's finish out with a few wrist circles to make sure we have the best rotation on our wrists. Good, now we're all ready to start. So pick up your bow staff, and we're gonna get started with some basic strikes, blocks, and stances for the bow staff. If you've never held a bow staff before, this is a great place to begin. We're gonna start by learning our basic strikes. So, to begin, let's go over how to hold the bow staff. So this in the center 1/3 will be our grip. So our main hold for the bow staff, you'll need to do one hand up and one hand down. It doesn't matter which hand is up and which hand is down, but we want an alternate grip. So get back into your horse stance. Again, this is a great stance that you could use as a stationary place to practice all of your techniques. We're going to hold the bow staff in front of us, and we're going to go through a very basic combo you can do to practice. So we're going to start with an overhand strike, switch to another overhand strike. Make sure that your hand is chambered at your belt every time you're striking. From here, we're going to flip our grip, bring it to our shoulder, and strike out. We're going to do the same. We're going to flip our grip, bring it to your shoulder, and strike out. So from ready position, flip your grip, put the bow staff over your shoulder, and swing outwards. The bow staff should be chambered, not under your armpit, but against your back. One more time. I'll turn to the side so you can follow along. We're going to take one hand up, hit our shoulder with the bow staff, and strike outwards. From here, back to ready stance, we can block, and then we can strike. So those were our 4 most basic bow staff strikes. Now if you'd like to practice that first, go ahead and pause this video so you can practice, and now we'll move on to some additional strikes and some blocks that you could add to your combination. Okay, now that you're more comfortable with your grip and the 4 basic strikes, let's go over some additional moves. So the first move we'll go over will require you to know what a front stance is. In a front stance, we have our front leg bent and our back leg as straight as possible. This makes sure that we don't move or fall over when we're doing our strikes. So first, we're gonna do an overhand strike, which means we start from ready position. We're gonna grab the bow staff and we're just gonna step forward and strike. Once again, I'll show you from the side. We're gonna grab our bow staff, we're gonna step forward and strike. The bow staff should be making a very nice diagonal angle, and you're aiming to hit the enemy's head, just like this. One more time from ready position, grab the bow staff, bring it up, and strike. Make sure that your legs are in the perfect front stance every time. Now you'll do the same thing to strike with the other side. You're gonna grab the bow staff, you're gonna chamber and strike. Make sure every time you strike, your front hand's knuckle is faced upwards towards the sky. This makes sure that your bow staff has a solid grip. And your back hand, you're gonna grab the bow staff and chamber at your belt. Make sure that your hand is secure here. If it's too high, the bow staff is gonna move around, and if it's too low, you won't be able to control it well. So right here is the most perfect place for your hand to grip while striking. Next, we'll be going over some forward strikes that you can add to this combination. Now the best stance for the forward strike is in a front stance, and make sure that your grip is one hand up, one hand down. Now all we're gonna do is chamber and strike forward. Again, make sure your hand is chambered at your belt and your other hand has a knuckle facing upwards. For this strike, we can have 3 different variations. You can strike high, you can strike middle, or you can strike low. A great tip to remember for the middle and low strikes is to make sure that your bow staff is chambered again underneath your armpit for the most solid stance. Once again, we can strike to the top, we can strike to the middle, or we can strike low. We can also use the bow staff as a great defensive tool. So whenever anyone is coming in with an overhand strike, we can simply step forward and block. Make sure your hands are about shoulder width apart on the grip, and your front leg is bent and your back leg is straight. This will make sure that we don't move around and we're solid enough to block. Now you can do the same thing to each side. If someone is coming at us with a strike to the side, we can step and block. And the same goes for your other side, where we can just step and block. Great job! Now let's put all of the strikes and blocks that we've learned together in a combination. You can practice on your own in a stationary stance. Or if you feel comfortable enough, we can go into some moving techniques. So first, we're gonna start out in a front stance as usual, and you're gonna have your bow staff ready in ready position. Now you can have it in front of you, you can be ready on the side, or you can just hold it with one hand. For the moving combination, you're simply going to move forward as you would with your basic hand techniques and add together whatever combos you would like to practice. So I will just introduce one basic combination that you could use to go over all of the basics. So first, from this ready position, I'm gonna grab my bow staff and start with a overhand strike. Then I'm gonna add one more overhand strike. From here, I can grab my bow staff, hit my shoulder, and step forward with a side strike. And from here, I'm gonna step forward and stab. Once again, we are in a ready position, and I'll demonstrate it from this angle so you can follow along more easily. From here, we're gonna do our simple overhand strike. Once again, simple overhand strike. Make sure your bow staff is chambered at your belt and your knuckle is facing the sky. From here, we're gonna switch our grip, hit the shoulder, and step forward with a strike. And our last move, we're gonna flip the bow staff, step forward, and do a center strike. Let's go over this combination and practice it together. So everyone get in your front stance, and I'm gonna count for us so we can practice this combination. 1, strike. Make sure you key up with every move. 2, strike. Very good. And 3, hit your shoulder and strike. 4, step forward, key up. Good. One more time. Start in your ready position. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's do it a little bit faster this time. Are you ready? 1, key up. 2, key up. 3, key up. And 4, key up. When you're ready to go full speed, it should look like this. Hut, 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 hut. So you can put together any of the blocks, strikes, and hits that we've learned so far to make your own combination. So thank you for tuning in to part 1 of our bow staff series. Just to recap, we went over our basic strikes, blocks, stances, and moving practice techniques for the bow staff. If you have any questions or comments regarding this video or any other bow staff tips or tricks, make sure you add a comment below and we'll get back to you. Thanks for watching, and make sure you look out for our next video in the series.